Welcome. Here we come to one of the modules that will support you to define your project work in sports tourism. What will we learn through this module? How to develop a project idea in the sport and tourism scenario. Analyze critically the level of innovation of your project idea. Identify the main factors for a successful project management. Project works roadmap. Learn the useful tools, techniques for the final concept of your project works. Are you ready? Let's begin. How can we develop a project idea in the sport and tourism scenario? The first starting point could be to have a specific interest in a sports speciality in the outdoor field. Most of all, that can be considered a development lever for new tourist services. The possible focuses could be an active travel connected with heritage and cultural discovering, outdoor sports activity for tourists in a new frame of urban sustainable development, tourist services designed for participants in sport events, realize new brands for new tourist emerging areas, sport and tourism services for people with special needs, and so on. What is our target focus? Do not forget that your target is always the tourist who wants to experience an active holiday, but probably he is looking for innovative services and experiences that the market still does not offer. He is looking for a sustainable and green holiday that does not find developed territories. In this sense, he has difficulties that prevent him from making the desired tourist experience. What approach should we take to define a project idea? Let's discover together the design thinking approach, applied to a target with special needs and therefore adaptable to accessible tourism. Now, after you have defined your focus and your target group, test your innovation. Let us be inspired by the definition of business innovation. Business innovation is the creation of substantial new value for customers and for the firm by creatively changing one or more dimensions of the business system. It is not limited to new products and processes, but it is related to the concept of value or better new value created. In this sense, the managers have to think holistically in terms of all possible dimensions through which their organizations can innovate. Some MIT researchers have individuated 12 possible dimensions of business innovation. In particular, offering, when a business develops innovative new products or services. Platform, when it uses common components or building blocks to create derivative offerings. Solutions, when it creates integrated and customized offerings that solve end-to-end customer problems. Customers, when it discovers unmet customer needs or identify underserved customer segments. Customers experience, when it redesigns customer interactions across all touchpoints and all moments of contact. Value capture, when it redefines how a company gets paid or creates innovative new revenue streams. Processes, when it redesigns core operating processes to improve efficiency and effectiveness. Organization, when it changes form, function or activity scope of the firm. Supply chain, when it thinks differently about sourcing and fulfillment. Presence, when it creates new distribution channels or innovative points of presence, including the places where offerings can be bought or used by customers. Networking, when it creates network-centric intelligent and integrated offerings. Brand, leverage a brand into new domains. Which and how many dimensions of innovation are included in your project? Check that you have included at least these dimensions. Offering, innovation in products and services means to know the actual products and services of the same brand, models extensively and redesign them in an evolution way. Customers and customers experience, to innovate along this dimension, you can discover new tourist segments or uncover unmet, and sometimes unarticulated, needs. Consider also the emotional aspect of a tourist experience. Brand, try to think about your brand in a creative way, taking care of effective communication of your services, activities. Presence, channels of presence are important to reach the final customers. Innovation in this dimension means creating new points of presence or using existing ones in creative ways. Solution, a customized, integrated combination of products, services, and information that solves a customer problem. Networking, innovations in this dimension consist of enhancements to the network that connected your brand to the tourists, increasing the value of your services. What tools do we still need to define our project? Let's start from the concept of project cycle management. Project cycle management is a term used to describe the management activities procedures used during the life cycle of a project. The different phases of the cycle are connected one another, and they are the start of the project, the phase of programming, the phase of preparation, organization, the phase of implementation, the phase of monitoring and evaluation. The follow-up closes the project. Now, new programming and project identification draws on the results of monitoring and evaluation as part of a structured process of feedback and institutional learning. To guarantee the achievement of project's main goals, such as the relevance of the real problems of the target focus, the achievement of the objectives set and the consequent feasibility of them, the sustainability of the project's benefits, PCM requires the active participation of key stakeholders and aims to promote local ownership, the tool of the logical framework approach, as well as other tools, to support a number of key assessments, analyses, including stakeholders, problems, objectives and strategies, the definition of key quality assessment criteria into each stage of the project cycle, the production of good quality key documents in each phase, with commonly understood concepts and definitions, to support well-informed decision-making. Now it is important that we focus on the definition of logical framework approach, LFA. The LFA is an analytical process and set of tools used to support project planning and management. It is used, in one form or another, by most multilateral and bilateral aid agencies, international NGOs and by many partner governments. The LFA should be thought of as an aid to thinking. It allows information to be analyzed and organized in a structured way, so that important questions can be asked, weaknesses identified and decision-makers can make informed decisions based on their improved understanding of the project rationale, its intended objectives and the means by which objectives will be achieved. As a preliminary work to complete a logical framework, identify the problem or the need satisfied by your project proposal. After the brainstorming phase, you can prepare a SWOT and a PEST analysis. 1. Through SWOT analysis, identify the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats of the project field. 2. Through PEST analysis, identify the political, social and technological economic aspects of the study context. A way that helps us to select which parts of the general problem we can face off through our project is the problem tree approach. Not all problems can be faced off by a project. You can select a problem only in case of a situation or condition that involves a group of persons or organizations that exists now or will exist in the future, which is considered undesirable by these same persons or organizations, and that it is possible to modify with an intervention that is within their reach. Make attention: if the last feature is missing, it is an element of context and not a problem. Example: in the Sahara it rains very little, therefore aridity of the soils, therefore agricultural production is almost nothing. Or in Finland there is little sun, therefore frequent phenomena of depression and high rate of suicides. Now define together your project work roadmap. Let's see the main milestones. Milestone number 1. Start with a good brainstorming. What are the main rules? Defer judgment. Encourage extravagant ideas, building on the ideas of others. Stay focused on the topic. Conduct one conversation at a time. Be visual. Aim at quantity in the first step. If you want to follow the design thinking approach, this is the moment of empathy, to investigate the target and prepare questionnaires. Milestone number 2. Define the focus of your project. To close the focus, you can choose to adopt a problem tree approach. Design the macro problem and its implications. Now choose 2 or 3 of these implications. Describe the main purpose and specific objectives that answer the problems identified. You are ready to complete the logical framework, LF. Milestone number 3. Define your final project's idea, testing your level and type of innovation. Don't forget to individuate your idea in the 12 dimensions of business innovation and to check in what your proposal differs from existing services, activities. Here is the ultimate goal of your roadmap. Write your proposal in these sessions. 1. The executive summary. Insert all the information of the milestone 1 and 2. Remember to explain the state-of-the-art of the field of the proposal. Identify the specific needs or problems, challenges that it intends to solve and why these needs, problems were selected over others. Define the main target focus. Don't forget to include references to any other models, methodologies, approaches previously tested and/or that they need to be improved. 2. The objective. Explain the general purpose of the proposal, highlighting the correspondence with the problem described, and indicate the list of the concrete aims of the project. You can select these information from your LF already developed. 3. The activities. Make a brief introduction of the models to set up and the lists of the main activities, demonstrating how they answer to the objectives already described. 4. The results. Describe the project outputs, outcome, possible products and services. Define also the expected impact of the project on the field of interests, on target focus, and how will the impact of your proposal be sustained beyond its lifetime. Now let's make a summary. Milestone 1. Start with a good brainstorming. Milestone 2. Define the focus of your project, after problem tree and LF draft. Milestone 3. Define your final project's idea, testing your level and type of innovation. Your final goal. Write your final proposal in sessions. Thank you for your attention. Go to the final test and to the link of project work materials.